have a very toxic trait. Remember when we were kids, we used to watch the show when people would run over the obstacles and they would finish the course, and we would sit on the couch and think, oh, that looks easy. Meanwhile, the contestants trained for years and we would run out of breath walking upstairs. Yeah, apparently I never grew out of it. The only difference is now that I'm an adult with a debit card. Which brings us to today's problem. So a few days ago, I saw this really talented person make really cool art on a mirror with clay, and instead of appreciating it like a normal person, I looked at that and I was like, I can make it. Now, the problem is I've never sculpted in my life. The only time I touched the clay was a couple of months ago. I went for a pottery class and it was a disaster. So I don't know how much clay I need, I don't know the tools I need. I just noted down all the things that I need to go get from the store. So me being me, I divided this problem into 3 cases. 1, best case scenario, I end up with a really cool piece for my apartment. Slightly more ambitious scenario, I decide to sell it somehow. And worst case scenario, I gain character development and it just turns out really bad. So either way, we're going to Kmart. Okay, we're back. I may have gotten slightly carried away. I got this gigantic mirror. I got this clay tool set, I got some paintbrushes, and there were not enough supplies at Kmart, so I went to Office Works. I got 2 air dry clay boxes, got 2 metallic silver paints, and 1 black paint. I also got Mod Podge, but I thought I'd get gesso, but it was really expensive, so I thought for the first time, I really do not need a lot of supplies. I think this will be good enough. I think everything else from now on will depend on how I make the art. And most importantly, I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, so first let's unbox our mirror. I feel like every hobby has this phase where you lay everything on the table and then suddenly you realize you're responsible for the outcome. Because 5 minutes ago I was really excited and now it's a project. And unfortunately for me, the reference looks very good, which means I have high expectations for myself. Should I maybe like draw on the mirror, like to understand where the alignment goes? I think I should do that. Let me do it. Okay, I'm done outlining it, but I think it slightly came upwards, so I will figure something out. Okay, right now I'm making the slip. Apparently, like if you mix clay and water in 1/3 ratio, this will help glue the whole clay together. Right now in my head, the mirror is beautiful, people are complimenting it, it's just present in my apartment or even someone buys it. But I know the second I touch this clay, the reality gets involved, so let's begin. Okay, so I made the face, but do you guys see the vision? Okay, don't judge, but I'm trying to make it look good, but I don't know if it's working. Let's just keep going. I've been staring at this mirror for like 20 minutes and nothing has happened. Okay, don't panic. Every sculpture has an ugly face. That's what I keep telling myself. But I don't know what to say. I'm trying. I'm starting to understand why handmade things cost like so much, because this is taking like forever. Wait, hold on. I think we're cooking. Because I'm not saying it's good and I'm not saying it's bad. This is the most hope I have had all day, so I will try to smoothen this out somehow. I'll probably take a break because I've been doing this straight for 2.5 hours, and I will let you know when it's finally done and ready to be dried out for a couple of days. Alright, I think I'm done. My original plan was to make it more like the Instagram reference, but along the way I think I became a clay surgeon for some reason. In order to make it perfect, every 5 minutes I've been changing something or the other, and it turned out like even worse than it did in the start. But honestly, considering I've never done this before, I think it's a win. Right now it looks a little rough, but apparently that's normal, so once it's all dried out after maybe 2 or 3 days, I will paint it, and let's just hope that it just turns out better than it does right now. I will see you once this dries out. Okay, quick update. I may have slightly underestimated how hard this could be. After finishing my first attempt, I looked at it for like 5 seconds and immediately knew I had to start over. So I basically spent the whole night redoing everything from scratch. There was like clay everywhere, on the floor, on the mirror, somehow even on the things I wasn't using. But honestly, I'm glad I redid it because it looks so much better than the first attempt that I did. Then came the hardest part, waiting. I had to leave it alone and let it dry, which sounds easy, but when you have spent hours on making something and then you realize you have to not touch it for many days until it dries. And of course, because this project likes to keep me humble, it developed a few cracks along the way, and I tried to sort it out with slip and try to smoothen it out somehow, but it didn't work and it was just literally falling apart, and I still have to clean the mirror, but this is how it looks. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I'll also attach a few images where I was done with the clay, which I was really happy with. It turned out really pretty, but I'll also attach an image where the cracks started developing, and it really humbled me, let me just say. This is the moment where it actually looks like an wall art or looking like a year 3 craft project. But before that, let me just clean up the mess that is around the clay and then I can start painting. First, I'll start by painting it completely black and then I will keep on the silver paint over it. I'm just hoping the cracks don't show up because of the black paint, but let's just see. For the most of the project, I couldn't tell if I was making art or I was making a mistake. But this black paint changed everything. Obviously it's not perfect, I went over the lines, but I think I can clean it up later. But once this kind of dries off, I'm gonna add metallic silver paint to this, and I really think it will turn everything around, but if not, it's gonna hide in my closet. Now everything left is I just have to add the metallic silver paint and seal everything with Mod Podge, which means there's still plenty of time for me to ruin it. Okay, I can clearly see all the cracks with the silver paint, but let me just keep going. Okay, so the last step is just to clean everything out and add Mod Podge, and I think I'm officially done. And it's also the middle of the night, so it's like 2 AM in the morning, which means lighting in my apartment is absolutely doing no favors for me for the final reveal. So I'm gonna let everything finish drying overnight, which is slightly terrifying because even right now, I still have the option of blaming the lighting if I don't like it. Tomorrow there will be nowhere to hide, so see you in the morning. And here it is. A few days ago, it was just a mirror, a block of clay, and a level of confidence that was totally unsupported by experience. I restarted it, it cracked. I questioned every decision I made. At one point, I was genuinely convinced that I wasted a lot of money and a lot of my time. But somehow, this is the final result. Is it perfect? No. Can I point out 100 things I would do differently next time? Absolutely. But that's kind of the point. A week ago, I had never touched air dry clay. Now, I have a piece of art that I made with my own hands in my apartment, and that's pretty cool. If you have been staring at an art piece and think, yeah, I can do that, then this is your sign to try. Worst case, you make a mess. Best case, you surprise yourself. And if nothing else, you'll end up with a story. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to find a place to hang this.